I'm willing to take those risks on. Do you think she should do this based on what we're talking about?
I do. I feel confident knowing that she's in your hands.
My name's Caitlin, and my knee does not match my body. My left knee looks very disfigured, discolored. The texture is very odd, and it has a lot of loose skin. It looks disgusting. My knee kind of crackle whenever I extend it. My son, he always makes fun of the way that I run and says I look like an injured deer. Can't sit on my knees, like bending down to put the kids in the bath. I just don't have the coordination in that knee. It is upsetting that you're not able to do the things that you want to do. It was about 10 to 15 feet that I fell and I hit.
It obviously burst open your skin, right? And broke your knee bone.
Yeah.
Open fracture.
Yeah.
And that's especially with all that beautiful water, with all those organisms in there.
Okay, so
there's your infection.
Fortunately, her bone is healed, so she no longer needs it. The problem is she's developed so much bony overgrowth, it's really difficult to remove it. And let's face it, the clock is ticking.
1 hour on the tourniquet.
Tick, 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 tick.
Ah, that sucker is encased in bone.
It's critical that the flap be alive, because if it's not alive, potentially she'll have a worse problem post-operatively than she had pre-operatively.
Wow.
1,000 times better, right?
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Not even the same leg or knee.
Yeah.
That's an incredible difference.
It's live.
It is alive.
You not only changed my life physically, but you have just like my well-being and everything as well.
It was always my father's plan. We're gonna find a doctor that can fix your face better.
Is that why he moved here, for you and your nose?
Yeah. When I was 27, I got to America. This is not only my dream, but my father's dream. He is not a rich man, but he always have a hope to find a help. And if I got this fixed, my father will be really, really happy.
We heard you had some type of flesh-eating, maybe bacteria, that completely destroyed your nose?
Yeah, I was at age of 1. They said I have the infection. My nose was open. That's why they got the skin from here. They put it here.
Okay, so you had a skin graft.
Yeah, to my nose.
As a baby.
As a baby.
Obviously, you have a challenging problem. So one of the things that may be a possibility is to try to add rib to try to reconstruct your airway to get more air in your nose.
Okay.
Okay? In regards to the shape and the form, the possibility there would be to open up the lower half of this, kind of lift it, make it less bulky, try to remove some of that skin that has hair on it even. This comes with risks. By me playing with this could actually die. And if it did, we'd have to go to the right forehead and do a graft. I wish I can guarantee Edna a surgery with no risk, but her columella is hanging on by a thread and could die during surgery.
I also have a hair growing out of it and felt cut off from outside world.
So 2015-ish, I went in for the original one, the under eye surgery. Where do I go? I went to the same person that did hers with good results at the time.
So you had a blepharoplasty?
Exactly.
I personally don't even remove lower eyelid skin because I'm afraid of the lower eyelid area.
Wow.
A lower blepharoplasty is removal of lower eyelid bags or removal of skin. This is an area that you have to be very careful because it's the thinnest skin on the entire body.
Well, the left one came out okay, and the right one did not. So a couple months after that, went into repair, stitch it somehow and pull the eye up. And that didn't work. 6 to 9 months after that, did another one, and at that point did a skin graft. It took, but it just made this worse. So same doctor, it took 3 surgeries to repair this. I didn't have any of the scarring that's under here. That's all from her attempting to repair. That's about when we got to the point where I was like, that's it, you're not touching me anymore.
I have a very good friend, his name is Guy Masry, who's an oculoplastic surgeon. I am gonna have to recruit Dr. Masry to help with this. I mean, you got a whole centimeter of lower eyelid retraction. So that means you need to do something to fill in that gap and help lift that up through some type of a mid-face lift.
Before my surgery, my right eye was disfigured and droopy, and I felt like I looked like a monster. I hid from the world behind sunglasses, and it affected my music career. But now, thanks to Dr. Nassif, my right eye is lifted and finally looks normal.
I had my surgery, but they didn't tell me I wasn't gonna come out with my grenades.
The drains.
The drains.
Yes, we call them grenades because that's what they look like.
They look like.
But why did you expect them, though?
Because all the surgeries I seen comes out with drains.
Most likely, had she had drains placed, it would have helped to prevent the seroma and the complication that she ultimately developed. Sometimes you gotta dive on a grenade to save the day. This is a true high-risk abdominal wall reconstruction. I'm willing to take those risks on. Do you think she should do this based on what we're talking about?
I do. I feel confident knowing that she's in your hands.
Before my surgery, I had a scar on my stomach that I can fit my whole hand in. The scar was so painful. It kept me from working out with my husband, and I wasn't able to eat big portions. But now, thanks to Dr. Dubrow, the scar is gone. I can work out.
After 5 surgeries and 22 years with this nose, it creates so much regret. My nose looks chopped off and looks flat, crooked, and also now I just breathe with my mouth.
So, your septum is blocking your left airway. The good news, that's pretty fixable. So the reconstruction, I've done before. We add cartilage to the tip of your nose, lengthening it, add projection, but the part that scares me, one, the little incision you had here is in a very bad location. And once we actually add length to it and try to put it back down with that cut way at the bottom, that puts this whole area right here at a compromised situation. The blood cannot get to it, and there's a high risk of tissue death.
Before my surgery with Dr. Nassif, my nose looked pushed up, my columella was disappearing, and I felt ashamed of my appearance. Now, since my surgery with Dr. Nassif, my nose has been lengthened. My columella looks completely normal, and I can let go of the guilt and move on with my life.
My name is Bruno, and I have 2 squishy, enormous bumps on my chest. When I run, they kind of... I was born and raised in Lisbon, Portugal, and I started surfing around 8. Not too many years after I started noticing the bumps. I did CT scan, I did an ultrasound, doctor after doctor in Portugal and the US, and never seen this. We have no idea what it is.
This one, it's soft and it's distinct from the rib, too. This one looks bigger.
This one is bigger
than this one. So when you're lying down, sometimes it probably goes right over, and that's when it hurts?
Yeah.
These masses feel like balls of fat. I've never seen anything like this before.
And I think it's paradoxical fatty hyperplasia. I think most doctors, like Dr. Nassif, would think it's a lipoma. I think that's second on the list. And then there's a third oma that's possible called a fascinoma, where we don't know what it is, but it's totally fascinating. Either way, it has to be operated on to remove it. We do a tummy tuck. You make an incision, lift it up, take the whole thing out, and pull down the excess skin. And in your case, the advantage of that is that all of this would be gone. The skin would be all tight.
I never imagined I would get a tummy tuck. I am very excited. Now I'm going to get some breast implants and pointy ears. Before my surgery, I had 2 huge masses on my chest. But now, thanks to Dr. Dubrow, the masses have been removed, the pain is gone, and I can now enjoy the sport I love. Dr. Dubrow and Dr. Nassif, they changed my life for the better. I cannot thank them enough.